जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Haribol, 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 Haribol. जय ओं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरहत श्री श्री जिभान शिला चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वयं प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन बीबीडी फाउंडर आचार्य जिभान एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरहत श्री श्री जिभान भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज शील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य शील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन धाम की जय। ब्रजमय वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। गंगा माई जमुना मई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। पतित पावन श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। मोस्ट मर्सीफुल लॉर्ड शिव श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। ग्रंथराज भागवत महापुराण की जय। गौर प्रमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण। All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Gaur Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्कृष्ण की। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, Text 12. Tasyam sandaihyamanayam sapauraa saparichaddaha कौटुंबिकः कुटुंबिन्या उपातप्यत सान्वयः तस्यां संदह्यमानायां सपौरा सपरिच्छदः कौटुंबिकः कुटुंबिन्या उपातप्यत सान्वयः तस्यां संदह्यमानायां सपौरा सपरिच्छदः कौटुंबिकः कुटुंबिन्या उपातप्यत सान्वयः तस्यां संदह्यमानायां सपौरा सपरिच्छदः कौटुंबिकः कुटुंबिन्या उपातप्यत सान्वयः तस्यां संदह्यमानायां कौटुंबिकः कुटुंबिन्या उपातप्यत सान्वयः तस्यां संदह्यमानायां सपरिच्छदः कौटुंबिकः कुटुंबिन्या upatapyata sanmaya tasyam sandahyamanayam sa paura saparitsadaha kautumbikaha kutumbinya upatapyata sanmaya. Mataji's. Tasyam, when that city, Sandahyamanayam, was ablaze, Sa Paurah, along with all the citizens, Sa Parichaddaha, along with all servants and followers, Kautumbikaha, the king, having so many relatives, Kutumbinya, along with his wife, Upatapyataha, began to suffer the heat of fire. Sa Anmayaha, along with descendants. Translation and purport by Divine Grish, Srila Abhacharana Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. When the city was set ablaze, all the citizens and servants of the king, as well as all family members, sons, grandsons, wives, and other relatives were within the fire. King Puranjana thus became very unhappy. Purport. There are many parts of the body: the senses, the limbs, the skin, the muscles, blood, marrow, etc. And all these are considered here figuratively as sons, grandsons, citizens, and dependents. When the body is attacked by the Vishtunjvara, the fiery condition becomes so acute that sometimes one remains in coma. This means that the body is in such severe pain that one becomes unconscious and cannot feel the miseries taking place within the body. Indeed, the living entity becomes so helpless at the time of death that although unwilling, he is forced to give up the body and enter another. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that man may by scientific advancement improve the temporary living conditions, but he cannot avoid the pangs of birth, old age, disease, and death. These are under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the agency of material nature. A foolish person cannot understand this simple fact. Now, people are very busy trying to find petroleum in the midst of the ocean. They are very anxious to make provisions for the future petroleum supply, but they do not make any attempts to ameliorate the conditions of birth, old age, disease, and death. Thus, a person in ignorance, not knowing anything about his own future life, is certainly defeated in all his activities. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishnam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guruho Srijita Padakamalao Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Sri Visakharitamsa Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमस्तुते ताप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्ते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां श्रुतौ पंगो ममंदार्मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोज राधा मदन मोहनो दिव्य वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमादो श्रीमद् रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्री श्री राधा शील गोविंद देवो पृष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भे बंसी बटा तटस्थितः कर्षण वेणु सुनिर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तु नः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतार भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री राधा मदन मोहन जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। हरे कृष्ण। Before I attempt to discuss in Bhagavatam, I would like to seek sincere blessing from His Grace Ananda Prabhu and all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, that by all of our blessings that we may together discuss the Supreme Personality Godhead in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, by which there are many benedictions we may receive, starting with purification of our own heart. Today we are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, text number 12. This chapter entitled as Puranjana becomes a woman in the next life. So before we discuss, we would like to offer the prayer to Srimad Bhagavatam. सर्वशास्त्राब्धि पीयूष सर्ववैदिक सत्फला सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाढ्यम सर्वलौकिक दृक्पदा सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभो कलिध्वंताद्वतादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता. Srila Sanatana Goswami wrote this wonderful prayer to Srimad Bhagavatam. It described that Srimad Bhagavatam is such a great person that he is very dear to all the Bhagavatas, Sarva Bhagavata Prana. So by seeking the blessings of all the Bhagavatas, person Bhagavatams, we would like to start our discussion today of this wonderful purport. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes that from this allegorical story, in the story as it is mentioned, the sons, grandsons, citizens, dependents, they are all considered as the different limbs and skin, muscles, blood, marrow, etc. So when the body is going to die, all these infallible soldiers of the body, they are also going to die. Srila Prabhupada writes, irrespective of one's so-called good condition or bad condition, irrespective of one's willing to accept the death or not willing to accept the death, everybody is forced to go through this agony of the death. There is no exclusion in this. Despite of one's unwillingness, one is forced to die. And in this purport, it is described that when the body is attacked by Vishnu Jwara, the fiery condition becomes so acute that sometimes one remains in coma. This is very fearsome description. So the scriptures give these descriptions to make us all aware that everybody in this metal world is going through this, have to go through these traumatic situations of life. So what is to be done? One cannot help oneself to ignore it or get out of it. But one still can have something by which one will not have any more such experience other than his birth. That is what Bhagavatam is going to talk. We are going to read the further purport. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, it is described, Krishna says to Arjuna, Jatasya hi dhruva mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmada pariharyarthe mam natvam sochitum arhasi. Jatasya dhruva mrityu. If one has taken birth, one has to die. Dhruva means it's determined, no question of avoiding it. Unavoidable. Dhruvam janya mritasya cha. If one is dying, then if one is not perfecting one's life in this very life itself, one is to again going to take birth. There is no question of avoiding it. It's also unavoidable. Just like death is unavoidable for the person who is taking birth, similarly birth is unavoidable for the person who has not taken precaution to go back to Godhead. He has to take again another birth. So this is there in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. And it's in second chapter itself. Basically, in second chapter itself, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's instruction starts from second chapter itself. In that very chapter itself, Krishna says that, Arjuna, you don't have to lament. And don't have to think so much. No sochim sochitu arhasi. It is aparihare. It is definitely going to happen. So there is no point for you to lament whether our kinsmen are going to die or not. They are definitely going to die, including our own self. And then we see in Bhagavatam 10th canto, first chapter, where Krishna's great parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, got married, and Devaki was going to her in-laws' house. Kansa, the great brother of powerful, mighty brother of Devaki, was driving the chariot. And we all know the story, that the pastime, that how there was heavenly voice told to Kamsa that the eighth son of Devaki is going to kill you. And Kamsa was fearful of his death. So he wanted to kill Devaki. At that very time, Vasudeva, being a thoughtful man, he wanted to protect Devaki. But he knows that he is not more powerful than Kamsa. So there are different ways describing of how to protect. One of the ways is that one can speak in a way that the enemy can be convinced and not kill. Shama, Dama, Danda, Veda. There are 4 different ways. So Vasudeva was speaking to Kamsa that, my dear Kamsa, in this world everybody is going to die. Mrityu janma vatambira dehena sahajayate adyava abdasata yudva mrityurvai parinamadruva. When a person is going to take birth, the death is also taking birth. It is going to eventually happen. Dehena sahajayate, along with one's body, mrityu also taking birth. So it is unavoidable. So why are you so much afraid of it? So Vasudeva, being a thoughtful and intelligent man, trying to convince Kamsa, and by Krishna's inconceivable will, he could have to do so. Kamsa, such a person to whom even the demigods could not convince. The great demigods, the great sages could not convince, but Vasudeva could convince. And this is all possible by Krishna's inconceivable will. So in the purport, it is mentioned that one should utilize, Srila Prabhupada writes, wants to utilize one's human form to end the cycle of birth and death. In this purport, indeed, the living entity becomes so helpless at the time of death that although unwilling, he is forced to give up the body and enter into another. And then Prabhupada writes, a foolish person cannot understand this simple fact that the Supreme Personality Godhead is controlling one's birth, death, everything, but not necessarily directly. He is doing it through the material nature. Maya adhyakshana prakriti shriyate sacharacharam. In my adhyakata, in my direction, in my supervision, the material nature is taking care of everything. So, arranging birth for somebody and arranging death for somebody, all this Krishna's Maya Shakti is taking care. Krishna doesn't have to do it. Parasya Shakti vidheva shruyate swahavike jnana bala kriyascha. He doesn't have to do that. But it is being done. And then we see that Srila Prabhupada writes that in this purport, a person in ignorance, not knowing anything about his future life, is certainly defeated in all his activities. So, this verse, this particular purport, gives us indication to all of us that every single intelligent man in this world, intelligent man and woman, should know the truth about one's life, one's old age, one's diseasing condition, and one's death. So, by knowing that, it is apariharya, it is fixed, it has to happen. One has to intelligently try to see the pratikara or the means to get out of this vicious cycle of birth, death, old age, and death. And how to do that? Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter, Krishna says, Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha ananyanaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate tesam aham samundarta mrityu sansara sagarad bhavami na chirat partha mai aveshita chetasam. He's saying that anybody who does all his activities, sarvani karmani, my sanyasya, by giving up all other thought, doing for me, and in what conscious? Matpara, being attached to me. So in simple language, if anybody trying to cultivate attachment to Krishna and doing all his activity in that consciousness, and then further describes Krishna that ananyanaiva yogena, without deviation, yoga means here bhakti yoga, without deviation from bhakti yoga, mam dhyayanta upasate, by thinking of me, worship me. Then if somebody does all these things, what Krishna is going to do? Tesam, for them, aham samundharta, I become the deliverer. What kind of deliverer? Bhavami na achirat partha. Chirat means long time. Achirat means quickly. I become the swift deliverer for these people. From where he is going to deliver? Mrityu sansara sagarat. From this ocean of birth, old age, death, and disease. From the ocean of material nations, he is going to deliver. Krishna has become the swift deliverer for this kind of devotees, those who are with faith, with cultivation of thinking of Krishna and doing everything for Krishna. For them, Krishna becomes the swift deliverer from this material ocean of cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. In this 12th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that. And when we come to Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, the very famous prayer begins from Bhagavatam is 8th chapter. Kunti Maharani's prayer. Shunanti gayanti grunanti avikhnasha smaranti nandanti tabe hitajana tae pashyanti achirena tavakam bhava pravaha uparam padambujam. Shunanti, who continuously hear. Gayanti, who chants. Grunanti, contemplate on it. And abhiknasa means continuously. Smaranti, thinks about it. And nandanti means by taking pleasure of somebody who is doing this. Such a great benediction. Even if one cannot do, by seeing somebody is doing that, I'm happy. And what is going to happen there? Taya pashyanti acharina tabakam. They are for sure going to see your lotus feet. Bhav pravaha uparam padambujam. Which alone can stop the repetition, birth and death. Simply by continuously, regularly hearing, chanting and remembering Krishna's glories, transcendental activities, and or even taking pleasure by seeing others and doing that. Just imagine somebody come to a temple in the morning and he's a pious man. He just came to temple in the morning, maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, and 6:30, 6:15, something like that. He comes and sees that, let's say it's on Sunday or Saturday, whole our devotees are sitting on the floor and some of them on the ground, and he says, oh, nice, they are all chanting Hare Krishna. He is become one of the candidates for this verse. Swaranti nandanti tava hita jana. He's not even chanting, he's just taking pleasure by seeing others are doing it. Kunti Maharani is saying that he is going to see Krishna's lotus feet for sure, no doubt on it. And by just because of that, he will be free from the cycle of birth, old age, death and disease. Srila Prabhupada created such a great benediction for everybody for that matter. Even those who are not part of Krishna conscious society, for them also great benediction. And what to think of somebody by the great endeavor of wonderful, eloquent Vaishnavas preaching, they are being attracted. There is no what to speak about their elevated conditions. For sure that is going to happen. And one such important point I feel all the followers of Krishna conscious society should think of. Srila Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Instruction, Avasya rakhive Krishna e Vishwas. One should have full faith that Krishna will protect us from the onslaughts of Maya in this material world. There is no doubt the onslaughts of Maya is going to work on every single person, whether one is poor devotee or pure devotee. It is going to work. But if they are sincere, if they are serious, if they have no other ulterior motive but to please Krishna, Guru and Gauranga, and sincerely taking the blessings and benedictions from all the Vaishnavas, they are going to protect it. For sure, there is no doubt. Prabhupada says, this is what is called Shraddha. Prabhupada defines Shraddha, the words in Nectar of Instruction. Shraddha sabde vishwas kahe, sudhranisha Krishna bhakti koile sarva karma kruta hai. One should have full faith. Shraddha is here not interest, it is like a faith. And what is that faith? Avasya rakhive Krishna vishwas. That is Shraddha. Whether I am chanting few rounds, or whether I'm struggling in chanting, while chanting I'm dozing, or while I'm chanting very attentively, keeping my body erect, whether I'm reading Srimad Bhagavatam very attentive, and by Krishna's grace I feel very special interest in that, or I do it as a duty, I'm being going to protect by Krishna. That is Srila Prabhupada's teaching for all of us. One time Srila Prabhupada's disciples were asking Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you are telling that one should be enthusiastic, one should be very much fired up to do seva, swadhyaya and sadachara. These are three special principles, triple S principle. Swadhyaya, seva and sadachara. Without this one cannot continue in Krishna consciousness for long run. If one just go on doing seva, if he doesn't do swadhyaya, it is not going to happen. Srila Prabhupada says that Um, and we can see there are many temples in India are being neglected. Definitely, at one particular day, the deities were installed, and some wonderful Vaishnavas has come and welcomed the deities, and the seva started. But why they are not been continuing anymore? Because the part of Swadhyaya is left. By studying, by doing Swadhyaya, we will be understanding thoroughly what the purpose of doing seva, why you are doing seva. Without understanding it, without regularly studying the Prabhupada teachings, things will be glided down in our mind, and we'll take the things for granted, and then we'll think that okay, ठीक है कल करेंगे, आज नहीं तो कल कर लेंगे, कल नहीं तो परसों कर देंगे, हो जाएगा. And that slowly and gradually makes us to glide down from the swift progress of Krishna consciousness. It gets glide down. At one point of time, without our notice, we are now over in Krishna consciousness. That's going to happen for sure. If that is why we should very carefully study Srila Prabhupada literatures without any compromising on that. The other day, some of our Bhakti devotees were discussing that what to do when there are some urgent things are coming up. Those are studying, they have the exams, those are working. Like one devotee was asking, I have like continuously 3-day audit and I have to go early in the morning. Somehow early in the morning I wake up and chant my rounds and then go to work, and coming at a late night, and I'm missing what to do. So we were discussing that, okay, because you have to do certain thing needful. Prabhupada says that you do needful. That those couple of days you have to see that whatever the time you get in between, sometime you just see if you can, even in 5 minutes, start doing it. But your regular quota, whatever the half an hour or 1 hour, whatever you kept for a side, those quotas should keep it balanced. And the day, as soon as your audit or exam is over, you should complete those quota on the weekend. You cannot keep it pending for a long time. So reading Srila Prabhupada's book is very important. Otherwise, the Vigraha will become Galagraha. Galagraha means what? A kind of rope tying on the neck. What to do? My spiritual master has given me to worship, but somehow I have to do it. That's not the way to worship the deities. That's not a way to do anything for that matter. Everything should be done with full enthusiasm and only for the purpose of pleasing Guru and Gauranga and Vaishnavas. This is the only reason we should do everything. So Srila Prabhupada created such a wonderful facility for everybody, for mankind, I can tell, for mankind, that anybody, everybody, just by admiring the activities of the Vaishnavas, they will be delivered. One may say it appears to be something like what do you call sentimentalism. No, it's not sentimentalism. The practicalities in this we can think of. If one continues to admire at one particular point of time in his life, he will start doing it. You cannot remain yourself without doing it. Today you say, oh, they are doing very good. What they are doing? Are they chanting holy name? Really? Somebody say, you go and tell to others also, they are chanting holy name. What is that holy name? Oh, I heard something like Hare Krishna. Oh, that is. And you started doing it. And if you continue to admire anybody for their good deed, Srimad Bhagavatam tells that all the good qualities of that person will manifest in your heart. Savai gunastatra samasate sura. Just by glorifying the devotees, just by glorifying the good qualities of a person, out of Krishna's causeless mercy, those good qualities within due course of time manifest in our heart. Such the easiest way Krishna has given to us, and Srimad Bhagavatam giving this information to all of us. So that's how Srimad Bhagavatam describes that one will end the cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, even first canto, first chapter itself, 14th verse, Srila Prabhupada writes, the translation is, living beings who are entangled in the complicated messes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Can you imagine? This is direct translation of the verse. First chapter itself. Sukadeva Goswami says that unconsciously, even if one takes the holy name of Krishna, he will be freed from the mess. Mess means you all understand, not the net. The mess of birth and death. One will be free from it. Just unconsciously chant the holy name of Krishna. When our devotees goes for Harinam, many people unconsciously just chant the holy name. And they are given this benediction by Sukadeva Goswami himself, by Bhagavatam himself. And then it is not only ending there. When in the Uttar Pradesh, when Sanatana Goswami was leaving his home and going to meet Mahaprabhu in, I think it is Banaras, right? Banaras, no? Dasashwamedh Ghat. And that is the place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 15 days, I believe, 15 days speak the detail of Krishna consciousness to Sanatana Goswami, which is famously called Sanatana Sikhya. Every detail. And that Srila Sanatana Goswami took into his heart and wrote many books from that Sikhya. Kaviraj Goswami describes those details in Madhyalila of Satyam Charitamrita, 20th chapter. There, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells to Sanatana Goswami, Ataiva Bhakti Krishna Praptira Upaya Abhidheya Balitare Sarva Shastra Gay. Krishna Praptira Upaya. To attain Krishna, what is the means by one can attain Krishna? That is bhakti. And the technical name for this bhakti is called Abhidheya. Abhidheya Balitare Sarva Shastra Gay. All the Vedic literatures are speaking this process of bhakti is called Abhidheya. Abhidheya in simple language is called the process. And that is called bhakti. And Mahaprabhu further tells that he gives how this bhakti, how it affects the process of bhakti, how it affects the person who is performing bhakti. Dhana paile jaiche sukha bhoga phala pai, sukha bhoga haite dukha apani palai. If one dhana paile, if one gets the wealth, then what? One definitely experiences a happiness. Sukha bhoga hai. Phala dhana paile phala sukha bhoga hai. The result of attaining wealth is experiencing happiness. And then he says that sukha bhoga haite dukha apani palai. When one experiences happiness, miseries or distress automatically goes away. One doesn't have to do anything to take away of miseries. And what is the miseries for everybody in this world? Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosa anudasana. 3-fold miseries and 4-fold problems. And that is the dukkha. And to mitigate that dukkha, one doesn't have to do anything else but do bhakti. And the bhakti will attain us the wealth of sukha. And by experiencing sukha, dukkha automatically goes. And this is the example Mahaprabhu given to Sanatana Goswami. And then he further says that Taisya bhakti phale Krishna prema upajay preme Krishna swada haite bhava nasa pai. By continuing on practicing Taisya bhakti phale, by receiving those kind of bhakti result, Krishna prema upajay, it gives birth to Krishna prema, the love of Godhead, the love to Krishna. And preme Krishna aswadana haile bhava nasa hai. When one experiencing Krishna's love, then one, this materialism, the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease will destroy. Bhava nasa pai. Kaviraj Goswami describes very nicely. This is the teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. That simply by practicing devotional service, one Forget about Krishna Prema and all other stuffs. One will attain the happiness. Immediate result. And when one attains happiness, automatically the distress or difficulties goes away. One may say that, well, is there all millions of people, those who are in Krishna consciousness, they are all attaining happiness? It appears to be sentimental, something somebody may say. No, you can see from the page of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, what is the peace formula? Bhaktaram Jagyandavasam Sarvalok Maheshwaram Surudam Sarvabhutanam Gyantvang Mang Shanti Mruchati. Knowing that Krishna is the our most well-wishing friend, and he is the person who enjoys, who releases all the yajna, dana, tapa and everything. So I am not bhakta, he is bhakta. So if one thoroughly convinces this fact, I am not the enjoyer, there is no question of distress for him. The reason distress comes because I don't get what I want. The difficulty comes to everybody for that matter, whether one is an insignificant ant or even the great Brahmaji. If one, whatever one wants, if it doesn't get, he feels unhappy or distress or difficulty. That's called ashanti. But if one somehow or other, by the grace of Vaishnavas, Guru and Gauranga, can really understand from the core of his heart that I am not the enjoyer, then this enjoyment spirit will no more there with him. So even if one gets or doesn't get, it doesn't affect him anymore. So the thing is that the percentage we adopt this principle, accordingly will become happy. If we are 1% adopted, we are 1% happy. If we are 100% adopted, we are 100% happy. And this is formula Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. There is no doubt in that. Logically one can think and practically one can experience. This is the principle. One cannot find it is illogical and one cannot find it impractical. Bhagavad Gita is the challenge. We have one book called Hare Krishna Challenge. It's a challenge to all humanity. This particular verse, as much as we practice in our life, so much we experience happiness. No doubt in that. And through all these means of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and the postgraduate scripture Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is all described that there is this metal world is dangerous. There are threefold miseries and fourfold problems of whoever we may be. If we do not put our endeavor to mitigate these problems of life, we will have to take birth once again. Not only once again, repeatedly, again and again and again. Punarapi janamam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare sayanam. And Bhagavad Gita says that Brahma bhumana loke punaravartana Arjuna. Even Brahmaloka residents, if they don't take the means of going back to Godhead, then one has to come back to this metal world. Only by going back to Godhead, one will be getting out of this repetition of birth, death, old age and disease. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, after going there, nobody comes back to this world. And Krishna's world, it is not anybody else's world. And we should have faith in Krishna's word. And to have faith in Krishna's word, we should associate with devotees. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koe, Lay Matra, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddha Hai. If we do not associate saintly devotees, even though we read Bhagavad Gita, even though we read Bhagavatam, even though we might be a big scholar of Sanskrit, we may understand every single word literally, but still the inner meaning of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam will not sink into our heart. Will not have faith on Krishna, Krishna's word. We may think something which may appear to be spiritual, but it's not so much spiritual. It could be ritual. Ritual becomes spiritual when we meet the people, those who practice spiritualism. Otherwise, it is all become ritual. For all our devotees of Krishna consciousness, as much as we take the association of devotees seriously, So much we are going to develop faith and page the Bhagavad Gita. And the more faith we develop in page the Bhagavad Gita, the more seriously you practice the principles of Bhagavad Gita. And the sooner se Vrindavane Radha Syamer Pave Darasan Gaur Krupa Halehe. By the mercy of Sri Gaurang Mahaprabhu, will attain the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Madan Mohan. There is no doubt in that. And for that, association of saintly person is must. It is not a option, it is must. And what is that association? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in his literatures saying that very special and straightforward statement. Bathing together in same ghat or sitting together in same bench doesn't mean association. Association is described in page of Bhagavad Gita. What is that Bhagavad Gita describes as association? Machchitta madgata prana bodhayanta paraspara kathantang nitya tushyanti charamanti cha. When we meet with devotees, we must see that we'll talk about Krishna. And in that way, we help each other. We try to build convince on each other. Bodhayanta paraspara. The other day we were discussing with our Bhakti devotees. Once in a week, it could be on Saturday or Sunday or any other weekday, let's see that we are talking to one of our devotees to whom we know. And what we should talk? What are the things we hear and read in this whole week? Need not to be elaborately. It could be 2-3 minutes talk. This is what inspiration I received. And this is what inspiration I received. Oh, really? It helps a lot. It helps a lot. And those, think it very practically, those couple of minutes, we are fully Krishna consciousness. Is it not? Actually, you are supposed to be 24 hours Krishna consciousness. But at least through these moments, we are fully Krishna consciousness. And Maya has no entrance into our mind or heart at that time. Because we are taken complete shelter of Krishna. Machchitta madgata prana. We may not have madgata prana, but we are bodhayanta paraspara. We might have not reached that stage, but at least we are bodhayanta. We are discussing with each other. And Srimad Bhagavatam says that mitha rati mitha trupti. It creates a spiritual attachment towards Krishna. When we discuss our Krishna Katha. Such a wonderful opportunity available for all of us in our congregation, in our ashram, in our near and dear devotees. If you don't do that, then it is Lochanda Thakur's word. Janya Shunya Bishakhaya. Manusya Janama Paya Radha Krishna na bhajiya Janiya Suniya Bishakhayinu. It's just like knowingly drinking poison for all the practicing devotees. Because we know that practicing devotee means we must listen to devotees. We must hear Krishna Katha. We must discuss Krishna Katha. And then after knowing that still we don't do, that means knowingly drinking poison. So this, from this specific verse of text 12 of this chapter of 28 from 4th canto, I think the take home for all of us that knowing that the ferocious death is waiting for all of us, we should try to find out the solution for that. Srila Prabhupada says that don't try to create another body. Finish your business in this very life itself. And in this Hyderabad itself, Prabhupada gave a talk. I think it was 73 or something. I heard that record. Prabhupada says that you cannot say that when the death is coming and knocking your door, say that no sir, please wait some time. Death will not wait for you. It will come and force you to go there. So knowing all this fact, we must try to find the means and solutions for this, that by sincerely chanting the holy name of the Lord in the association of Vaishnavas for the pleasure of Krishna is the only means to get out of this vicious cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. Recently, last week, we heard the wonderful retreat by His grace, Burijan Prabhu, he was telling that, repeatedly he was telling this very statement. Somehow by His causeless mercy, I remember that verse. Just hear one mantra. You are so fortunate to hear one mantra. One mantra. You are so fortunate to hear one mantra. This is a formula Prabhuji is given to all of us. Let's try our best to apply this formula every single time we chant the holy name. And by the causeless mercy of all these elevate, wonderful Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada warriors, and Srila Prabhupada's causeless mercy and Radha Madan Mohan's blessing upon all of us, one day we'll have that strong faith that will chant for the pleasure of Sri Radha Madan Mohan. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Would like to hear any corrections from His Anandamaya Prabhu. Any correction, please? Any comment? Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnava vrinda ki jai. Grantharash Bhagavat Mahapuran ki jai. Thank you all very much for your wonderful association.